These are beautiful houses. Yeah, it's off of West Verda. The other name of it is East Cantera. And probably all $1 million homes are close to it in that ballpark figure. Very secluded neighborhood, very nice, very clean. Not a single mark on the sidewalk. A bird pooped here the other day and he was ticketed. It was a very weird thing. They dropped the ticket at the bird's beak. He just ate the ticket. Yeah, it was a wild pooping bird that likes to poop on things. He pooped on one of these sidewalks and the bird got ticketed. You're really supposed to pick up the bird's poop. People didn't know that. Your local neighborhood bird. If your local neighborhood bird poops, you're really to pick it up with a little scraper yourself. Hey man, that's your bird. Dude, the bird flies over here all the time. I don't care, man. He flies more your way. You got to pick up the bird poop. I'm not picking up bird poop. That bird flew over your area, the sidewalk. You got to go out there and scrape that bird poop off. All right. I guess it's my bird then. I will go out there with the scraper and scrape the bird poop off the sidewalk. Make sure this gate opens here. It's like a nightmare. I'll be forced to move in here. Okay, there we go. Knock, knock at the $1 million cabin gate. Knock at the $1 million mansion. Brought to you by Disney and Apple TV Plus. Ding, ding, ding. Speaking of Lady Hawk, there's a Whataburger over here? Where is there not a Whataburger in this town? Lady Hawk was actually an original screenplay based on a story screenplay. Someone else had written the story screenplay and then they basically turned it into a screenplay. It's an original. Most think it's a book. It's not. It's an original screenplay. Lady Hawk, 1985, Matthew Broderick, Michelle Pfeiffer. Brilliant film. Rutger Hauer, and some Shakespearean actor that played the bishop. It's great. Greatness there. The best. Worry about the A lane, that he would give it to me in the B lane. Lady Hawk was, well, I wouldn't say it was a B film. It was an A film. But it was, you know, Matthew Broderick's genius. And, of course, Michelle Pfeiffer. But if you haven't seen that, then, you know, get lost. That's what I do when I sit down in a meeting. I say, have you seen Lady Hawk? And they'll say no. And then I jet. Watch Lady Hawk first. Then you can talk to me. Yeah, that kind of thing. Before Lady Hawk or after Lady Hawk. Watch Lady Hawk. What I do in a meeting, I bring a copy of Lady Hawk with me and I slide it over to them. Have you seen this? And they go, yeah. And then I pocket the Lady Hawk. If I slide it over, I say, have you seen Lady Hawk? And they say, no. Watch this and then we'll meet again. I'm joking, but go out and see it. It's a really good one. It's great. It's probably one of the best medieval times, you could say. I mean, movie ever, really. One of the best. It's a beautiful movie. But they were jealous when that one came out. Richard Donner, one of our greatest directors, released Goonies. Great film. Great place to go. I'm envious of Adam the Woo that went out and did the filming locations of the Goonies and Astoria. Just completely brilliant. Anybody that goes out there and does those filming locations is brilliant. The Goonies was released, and then same year, 1985, was one of my favorite all-time films. I need to put that down on my list. Richard Donner and Lady Hawk, which is about original screenplay. I'll check out some stuff about Goonies, find out who was behind all of Goonies. But Richard Donner was right there when it was being done. He was director for both. Both marvelous movies in 1985. A good year for fun movies. Jeff Cohen played Chunk. The football player, he played what is known as Sloth in the Goonies. Just now figured that out. In 1985, Spielberg was behind part of the success of the fun summer movie. I guess you could call it that, or whenever it was released. I have to go back and look. I don't know what time of season, but it was 1985. And Goonies was partially written, or it was story by Spielberg, which was the adventure comedy. In that same year, Richard Donner released Lady Hawk, which was the romance that was also based on a story. Two really great original screenplays in 1 year. Man, that was a great year in cinema. 1985. That whole year was probably right off St. John's. Yeah, the concept behind Lady Hawk is brilliant. Whether it's a lunar or solar eclipse to break the curse, they stop becoming shapeshifters at that moment because the sun and the moon have aligned a certain way. Or if it's a solar eclipse, it could be the other way. Regardless, there's no more night and day. So during the daytime, the maiden, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, turns into a hawk and goes flying around. Then at nighttime, the night, it was a black knight, or it may be called the Black Knight, played by Rutger Hauer, turns into a wolf at nighttime and becomes the running around as a wolf. Little guy named Mouse, played by Matthew Broderick, is a thief that escapes. And he finds the maiden, hangs out with her, and he hangs out with the knight during the day when he's a normal knight. They're trying to reunite, and they meet an old man that knows how the curse can be broken, which is during this eclipse, what is called an eclipse. A guy named Wood is in it. He plays the bishop. He's a Shakespearean actor, the Wood guy. He has to see them together for the curse to be broken, because he created the curse. And once he sees the lovers together, the knight and Lady Hawk, who is the maiden, sees them together, the curse is broken. It was an original story idea, and I turned it into a screenplay. It's really good. Matthew Broderick's pretty good into it. It is really good too. Plays Mouse. I believe that's his name. As Rutger Hauer would say, Mouse. You gotta see it. Check it out. It's really good. There's crossbows, all kinds of stuff. bishop sees them together, he becomes envious because the eclipse happens and someone gets stabbed. There's stabbings, there's staffs, there's swords, and he's forced to watch the two lovers together as humans. No longer a hawk, no longer a wolf, but as people. He's forced to see it. Forced to see it, and the curse is lifted. Really good ending. It made a lot of Dungeons and Dragon modules, or at least made a lot of Dungeons and Dragons sit-downs. The Lady Hawk sword became a favorite sword among the Dungeons and Dragons players that would play it. At least on our campaign, it did. You could get the Dungeons and Dragons or the Lady Hawk sword for your character, because we invented all our own Dungeons and Dragon modules. A lot of them we wrote our own in our teenage years. We did look at some of the other modules. My friend Scrow and I, we did look, but we mostly kind of invented our own campaigns. And Lady Hawk was, of course, in many of our campaigns. As we listened to Labyrinth, and were jested upon by a guy named David Bowie, would sing from our tape player, because we would go into the movies and record the soundtrack to Labyrinth with a little handheld tape recorder. Remember when you did that, you know? And you sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons and listen to Labyrinth. Man, those were the days. Major imagination at hand. And there it is, kids. The Press Cafe. Right next door, you can buy yourself a bicycle and bike around with glee. Got a little start area right here. You can start at Farmer's Market. You can start biking, like right there. They got a bike trail. So you can get your coffee here at Press Cafe. The bike trail starts there. And that's the entrance to Press Cafe. Then while you're waiting on your coffee or your salad or sandwich or whatever it is you want to eat at Press Cafe, you can go to this place right here, the Bike Mart, for the trailhead. Then if you're a photographer, and let's say you get bored or whatever, you can go to this little bike shop parking and get yourself an iconic Kubrick shot. I wouldn't sell my bike for all the money in the world. So the Press Cafe is actually doing private parties right now. But we're going to pick up some Mexican food down the way and drop that off at your doorstep for another person. So I'll let the person know. Look at this, though. Is this not breathtaking? I would say it's better than average. My little Lady Hawk gear on. There's the beautiful sunset, the trees. But check out this little bike trail thing over here. Copyright, copyright, copyright. You don't copyright as much as things. The trailhead or Clear Fork is where this begins. This is probably most likely kind of a staging area for either bikes or dogs. It's getting cold out. So, restrooms and water. And this is a trailhead right here. Then they have a high traffic area. And you can rent bikes too, right over there. And this is what's known as the Trinity. The Trinity. And that's Fort Worth right there. So one of their trailheads for the bikes starts right here. That's the beginning of the trailhead there. And they have like a little sign here just in case. It's a high traffic. That's the Trinity River right there. Like I said, I recommend Lady Hawk. Richard Donner film. Same guy did Superman. He also did a little film called The Goonies. Worked with Steven Spielberg on that one. Donner did. Not around anymore, he died last year. But all his films are great. Especially Lady Hawk. But I'm a big fan of The Goonies. And also check out Adam the Woo's channel. He just vlogged The Goonies, I think like a day ago or something. So the whole Astoria in that area. My friend of mine lives over there. It's a pretty cool little area. We plan to maybe do it. We'll have to see. Wait a minute. Is that a green light? Oh, we got green lighted. They're all the way from Oklahoma.